Okay, this is video A14, and I'm doing number 11 today. All right, so in this one right here, I have negative 7/12, and I'm going to add to it 1/6. So before I can do anything, I have to find a common denominator. So I look at these and I see, okay, I have a 12 and I have a 6. So my least common denominator is going to be 12. So I already have 12 here, so I don't need to do anything to that side. But on this side here, right, I have to multiply by 2 over 2. So that is going to give me, right, negative 7/12 plus, and then I multiply through here, right, so that gives me a 2 in the numerator, and then I multiply my denominators, and 6 times 2, so that gives me a 12 here. So now I see that the absolute value of this, right, is greater than the absolute value of this. So, well, the signs are different, right? So this one's negative, yeah. This one's positive, so I know that the signs are different. So that's the first thing I know. So I look for which one has the biggest absolute value, and that's going to tell me the sign of my final answer. So let's go ahead and look. So I have negative 7/12. So the absolute value of this one, right, is, well, let's go ahead and write it down. This one gives me, so I have the absolute value of negative 7/12. And this gives me, right, the absolute value of 2/12. So the absolute value of negative 7/12 is 7/12. And the absolute value of 2/12 is 2/12. So the bigger one, obviously, is, this one right here. So therefore, we know our answer must be negative. So let's go ahead and make our answer negative. So our answer's negative. There we go. That's the first thing we know. And since the signs are different, right, since one's positive, and one's negative, we know that we have to subtract these two. Right? So 7/12 minus 5/12, right? So I know my denominator's 12, and 7 minus 2 gives me 5. So I know my final answer, right, is going to be negative 5/12, and I'm done. All right, so for video A14, let me write this down so I remember. So for video A14, the first question I'm going to ask you is, well, let's see. What will I ask you? Well, I will ask you, how did I decide if my answer was positive or negative? And you're going to tell me, right, first you had to get a common denominator, and then you saw which one had a greater absolute value, and whichever one had a greater absolute value, you kept that sign for your answer. Alrighty, so that takes care of that one. Let me go ahead and draw something for today. So for today, your extra credit is a clover, a green clover. There you guys go. That sort of looks not like a clover when all is said and done. It almost looks like a cartoon character or something. Anyway, it's supposed to be a green clover, and that's your extra credit problem. So the second one I'm going to do is number 12, which is negative 7 8/10 plus 9. So the first thing I notice is that this one's positive and this one's negative, but the bigger number, right, is positive. So I know my answer is going to be positive. So that's the first thing I know. And now, since the signs are different, right, this one's positive, this one's negative, we're going to subtract their absolute values. So that's going to give me, the absolute value of 9 minus the absolute value of negative 7 8/10. So I'm going to end up with the absolute value of 9 is 9 minus the absolute value of negative 7 8/10, which is positive 7 8/10. So I'm going to write this as 9 and 0/10 minus 7 8/10. So I have to borrow. That becomes an 8. That's a 10. 10 minus 8 is 2. 8 minus 1, 7 is 1. So our final answer is positive 1 2/10. So we're done with that one, and the question that I will ask you is, I don't know, what should I ask you? I don't know. I'm going to surprise you this time on what I ask you, and that is the end of this video.